Beneath the bustling streets of modern London lies a buried Roman metropolis that was completely abandoned for 400 years. Beneath the bustling streets of modern London, there is a ghost. It is a buried Roman metropolis, and it was completely abandoned for 400 years. In the year 410 AD, the Roman Empire was collapsing. Emperor Honorius sent a letter to the citizens of Britain. He told them to look at their own defenses. The legions marched away. They never came back. Behind them, they left Londinium. It was a masterpiece of ancient engineering. It had stone walls. It had public baths. It had an amphitheater that could hold thousands. But within a generation, it was dead. Silence fell over the stone streets. Roofs caved in. Weeds shattered the mosaics. What happens to a city when its creators simply vanish? For Londinium, the answer lies in the dirt. Archaeologists call it the Dark Earth. It is a thick layer of black soil found across London. It covers the Roman ruins completely. There are no coins in the Dark Earth. There is no pottery. There are no bones. For 4 centuries, nothing happened here, but people still lived in Britain. The Anglo-Saxons crossed the sea. They migrated into the Thames Valley. They needed homes. They needed defenses. Londinium was sitting right there. It had massive stone walls. It offered perfect protection. But the Anglo-Saxons refused to go inside. They built an entirely new settlement. They called it Londonwick. They built it a mile down the river. They built it out of wood and thatch. They huddled in the mud, just outside the greatest city in the country. Why would a struggling society refuse free shelter? Because they were terrified. The Anglo-Saxons were people of the forest. They are built with timber. They didn't understand concrete. They didn't understand aqueducts. They didn't understand underfloor heating. To them, this wasn't an abandoned city. It was a graveyard of gods. An ancient Anglo-Saxon poem survives from this era. It is simply called The Ruin. The poet looks at a collapsed Roman city, and he writes the phrase entageworks. That translates to the work of giants. They genuinely believed human hands could not build such things. They thought giants had raised the stones, and they thought those giants had been wiped out by a terrifying plague. They believed the ruins were cursed. Have you ever stood in an abandoned hospital and felt a creeping sense of dread? That is what the Anglo-Saxons felt. Every time they looked at the Roman walls, they saw the physical proof that an invincible civilization could die. If it happened to the giants, it could happen to them. Dr. Robin Fleming is a historian of early medieval Britain. She studies exactly how the Romano-British economy collapsed. She discovered that the loss of Roman technology was absolute. Within a few decades, nobody in Britain knew how to make a potter's wheel. Nobody knew how to blow glass. Nobody knew how to mix mortar. The collective amnesia was staggering. The Anglo-Saxons walked past Roman villas that were slowly dissolving into the earth. They found Roman coins in the dirt. They didn't use them as money. They pierced them. They wore them as magical amulets. They were the artifacts of a lost world. For 400 years, the city of giants slept. Trees grew through the basilicas. Wolves denned in the governor's palace. It wasn't until the year 886 AD that the fear finally broke. King Alfred the Great was fighting the Vikings. He needed a fortress. He looked at the old Roman walls. He realized they were stronger than anything his people could build. He ordered his men to march inside. They cleared the brush. They rebuilt the gates. They founded a new city inside the shell of the old one. They called it Londonburg, and from that seed, modern London grew. But the original city is still down there. It is 20 feet below the modern pavement. Every time a new skyscraper is built, excavators hit the Roman layer. They find the roads. They find the temples. They find the ghosts of the people who thought their empire would last forever. What makes you think our cities are any different? Right now, you are surrounded by concrete, glass, and steel. You assume this is the permanent state of the world, but the Anglo-Saxons knew the truth. They looked at the shattered domes of Londinium and understood a terrifying reality. Progress is not a straight line. Civilization is incredibly fragile, and one day, 1,000 years from now, someone might look at the ruins of our world and wonder, where did the giants go?